Welcome to the Zinger Agent Studio walkthrough. In this video, we will use the Agent Builder to help you create a high accuracy Q&A bot in under 10 minutes. Let's begin. Moving forward, we'll be learning about the Studio homepage, defining the agent, the canvas, node selection, node configuration for the following nodes: the input node, retrieval node, the LLM node, and the display node. Finally, we'll be testing our agent. On the Agent Studio homepage, we will click on Build. This takes us to the agent definition page. Here we will write in the agent's name. We are creating a medical bot. Description: this bot will provide assistance to doctors by providing patient previous data. Tags: we will tag this bot under medicine. Add the tag. We will leave the optional columns empty, and then we will continue to build. As we click this button, we will land on the builder canvas. The canvas is the heart of the agent building experience. On the left hand panel, we see key building blocks called nodes. Each node is fully configurable and gives us complete control on how our agent behaves and responds. Let's move on to node selection. For our bot, we will require 4 nodes. An input node for taking in user data and requests. A retrieval node for retrieving data from our vector database. Specialized data will be retrieved here. An LLM prompt node for the LLM to work and process on our requests, and then we have a display node for the final output. It's simply drag and drop, and now we'll connect the nodes. You connect the input node to the retrieval node to the LLM node, the LLM node to our display node. So our agent node connection setup is ready. Now that the nodes are aligned on the canvas, we'll configure each node one by one. We will be starting with the input node configuration. Here is the table for future convenience. We click Edit, and this will open a configuration panel on the right side of the screen. Here, most of the options come preset, while a few need to be configured by us. We'll start with the first one. The first one is Enable Text Input. Now this is set to true when we are only using text input. Moving on to the next, it's User Message. So now here we select the digital container that will hold the user's query or message. The standard choice is webapp.message in the chat payload. Moving on to the next option, it's Enable File Ingest. So we turn this on or set it to true when we need to upload a file for ingestion. The next option is Ingestion Index Name. So if file ingest is enabled, here we choose the index where the uploaded file content will be stored. Once this configuration is complete, we click Save. Our input node configuration is complete. We will now configure the retrieval node. For convenience, in the future, we have attached a table for all the fields, their required values, default values, and the description. On the retrieval node, we click Edit. A configuration menu on the right pops up. The first configuration option is the user query. This configuration captures the user query for document retrieval. The next on our list is output variable name. Output variable name is the name of the digital container, a variable in the memory where the retrieved data is stored. The next option or configuration is index name. So this option allows us to select an index from where to retrieve our answers. We can choose the same index we created in the previous video, and we can enter $ and select the index. Moving on, we have retrieval type. Here we choose one of the three options: semantic, MMR, or a full retrieval. So with semantic retrieval, it finds documents by meaning and intent, not just exact keywords, using AI embeddings for smart relevance in RAG workflows. MMR stands for maximal marginal relevance. So this option balances relevance and diversity, so we get useful documents without too many near duplicates. A full retrieval. A full retrieval pulls a large set of documents with minimal filtering. This can create some clutter compared to targeted semantic or MMR retrieval. We will go for a semantic retrieval. Next on our list is top K. With top K, we are certain the maximum number of documents to be retrieved. The standard preset value is 10 and we will let it remain the same. Next is re-ranker enabled? A re-ranker is a model that takes the initial list of retrieved documents, reorders them so that the most relevant ones come up first. So we will enable the re-ranker. The next is maximum documents. This option helps us with the maximum number of documents to be considered during re-ranking. The standard choice is 10 and we will let it remain the same. Next, we will be moving on. Is chunk expansion enabled? So now chunk expansion enablement is important, as when enabled, the system doesn't only retrieve the matching chunk but also pulls up the nearby before and after chunks to give it a better context. So we require better context. We will make it true. The chunk expansion window size lower limit. So the minimum number of neighboring chunks that can be added around the main chunk, preventing the window from becoming too small. So what we will do is make this value 2. Chunk expansion window size upper limit. So this is the maximum number of neighboring chunks or tokens that could be added so that the retrieval answer does not become too big or too expanded. So we will reduce this to 6 and then we click save and we are done with the retrieval node configuration. Next, we will be configuring the LLM prompt node. The node configuration table has been attached with all the relevant fields for future convenience. On the LLM prompt node, we click edit, opening the configuration menu on the right. The first configuration option we have is model name. So here we select the LLM model used to generate responses. We have options of a few models. For now, we will choose GPT-5 Mini as it's the latest and fastest. The next option we have is system prompt. So now what is a system prompt? A system prompt is high-level instructions and context that define how the LLM behaves. So this is high level instructions for the LLM on how to behave for this use case. I have a system prompt copied, which I'll paste here. Next we have user prompt. So what is a user prompt? User prompt is the user query or instructions passed to the LLM with context. As we know, we can use inputs and outputs from any nodes anywhere. So we'll mention a dollar here, and then we will use user message, as this is where the query is saved. Moving on to the next configuration option, we have output format. Here we can mention the structure in which we expect the output and the format too. So here we have the output in markdown text. This could be in plain text or JSON as well, as per the requirement. The next option on our configuration list is conversation history. So how many previous messages to be included for conversational context is what is decided by conversation history. The next important configuration option is temperature. Temperature controls randomness in responses. A lower value gives more focused, predictable answers, while a higher value creates more varied, creative outputs. Next, we have seed. So seed is a number used to control the randomness. So it helps reproduce similar outputs as and when needed. Next, we have reasoning effort. So this specifies how much reasoning effort the LLM should apply for the task. Next is max retries. So the number of retry attempts if the model call fails is max retries. Here we have 2. This is the standard value. The last option in our list is output variable name. So the variable where the generated response is stored is mentioned in the output variable name. Next we click save, and our configuration of the LLM prompt node is now complete. Finally, we will be configuring the display node. The display node configuration table has been shared for future convenience. On the display node, we click edit. The configuration menu opens up. The first configuration is display value. The display value is the variable that will be shown to us. Typically, this is the LLM output variable. Letting it stay as an asterisk is the standard value, and we will leave it like that. The output format. We can have the output in multiple formats. It can be rendered in the UI in the form of an accordion, the default value of the LLM, a form configuration, or as markdown text. Let's select markdown text. The next option we have is additional instructions. Here we can add any extra display or formatting instructions as per our requirement. Let's move on to the next option. The next option we have is unique ID for current conversation. So unique identifier can be used to track this conversation. The standard option here is webapp.conversation.guide. We've selected it, will not change it. Moving on to our last option is reply to ID. So this is used to link the display response to a specific incoming message. And the standard again is webapp.guide, and we will keep it like that. This completes the display node configuration. We will click save now. Our configurations are now complete. Once our build is complete, we can click on test to check the functionality of our chatbot. You've now seen all the steps. Connect these nodes, hit launch, and your Q&A bot is ready to go.